there's a point where either a parent cannot deliver the care themselves because of parental aging or because the child or adult is becoming more difficult than can be taken care of within the home. We also don't have a whole lot of help with home aids, I will call that. We wind up seeing people winding up in group homes. And these are places that were intended to deliver comprehensive care and education and training, and healthcare was supposed to be all part of that process. Tell me about that transition from home to a group home.
Transition from living at home to allowing, I can't even describe the level of trust that you would put into the hands of someone who is now going to care for your child. Probably the most difficult decision my husband and I, he'll agree with me, would have ever had to make. I use this almost as an analogy for adults who have elderly parents who, and we went through this with both of my grandmothers who had Alzheimer's, no longer safe to be in their home. And then what happens is there's literally a decision: can I afford to stop working and still be sure that my loved one gets the supports and resources that they need? In addition to that, can I afford to possibly become injured? And then we're in crisis mode. And then who's going to take care of my loved one? Or might I leave this planet earlier than I could have, where I could have been here longer to continue to advocate for my loved one? So there's so many difficult things to think about. We're in crisis because the people who I entrust to care for my son every single day, and this means he can be aggressive. They're putting themselves in harm's way. He can be self-injurious, and they're trying to prevent him from doing that to himself. He needs to be given medications. He is not toilet trained, so he needs to be changed and cleaned, and his clothes need to be washed, and he needs to be showered, and his bed sheets need to be changed all the time. This is what these individuals are doing. And if you think about all of those elements, you would think, oh, a nurse does those things. What does a nurse get paid as an hourly wage? These individuals get paid about $15 to $16 an hour. We're in crisis. If you can't pay people the hourly wage that they deserve based on the kind of work that they're doing, you can't blame them if they can go work somewhere else and not have those same responsibilities and that same amount of work. It's exhausting work.
Taking care of that person is one person. Taking care of that person is a totally different. And the skill and the gimmick that gets into that mouth isn't going to be the gimmick that gets into the other mouth.
Exactly.
So the turnover of staff has been traditionally fairly high. The ability to keep these people trained and to observe and to watch and to make sure that they're really doing the care.
And by the time someone gets to know my son well, and I feel comfortable, they've moved on to something else again, because they're expecting, like we all do, to be able to grow in your career, advance in your career. And, unless they want to be a supervisor of other people who are doing this kind of work, there's not a whole lot of advancement opportunities.
So this is another chance for for professional advocacy. We do have to find better methods of support. And for group homes, this goes for aging, it goes for traumatic injury, it goes for persons that are classified as with a disability. We have to find better ways of supporting this. And unfortunately, it's a societal expense because none of these people, most of these people have never earned the living, haven't put the money away. It's a burden already on the family. I hate to say that the divorce rates are high. The family structure is under a perpetual stress. It is
You're
it is a
100%.
difficult.
You're 100% right. My son lives with three other young gentlemen about his age, and it's heartbreaking to hear the stories. And staff are very respectful of their privacy, but it doesn't. It's not rocket science to know that every time you come to pick up your child for a weekend at home, those individuals are always there. There's no one coming to pick them up. There's no one and for different reasons. I mean, they may have guardians who aren't physically able to do it. There's so many reasons for it.
And it's so important, the aging guardian. You mentioned something. There's no worse time than for a family structure when the parents are no longer able to take care of the 40-year-old or the 50-year-old child now, and now is the transition. These are difficult items, and we need to think about how that occurs.